What's up, you guys? This is Mini.
This is Alec.
And Cody.
And this is BroTalk on TheBroDen. What's up, you guys?
Not much. How are you? How are you guys?
I'm pretty fantastic. I went down to the worst city in America yesterday. I went to Portland. And all it made me decide was that, yes, I still hate Portland. I hate the people.
Why do you hate Portland? What
Dude,
you got against Portland?
What do I have against Portland?
Yeah, what'd they ever do to you?
Everything. I hate the streets. Like, I hate the layout of the city. It's stupid. Hate the people. I hate that the stadium where I went to watch a soccer match yesterday doesn't have a parking lot for cars, but it has a parking lot for bikes. It's like, what? Are you kidding me?
Bicycle parking lot?
Yeah, there's no car parking. You have to park like a mile away and walk to the stadium. But you can ride your bike up, and there's literally a huge place to come just park your bikes.
The whole stadium doesn't have a single parking lot.
No, dude. No
Jesus
parking
Christ.
lots. There's a lot of... I can't stand Portland.
You like the Trailblazers?
No.
No.
Yeah, like yesterday, some guy, after the Sounders-Timbers match is over, is like, hey, what time does the Supersonics game start? And I was like, dick.
Did you take it personally?
I
Did you
did.
punch him in the face?
And then another guy was like, go 49ers. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Ooh.
Dude, he lives close enough to Seattle to where it's like, why would he even rub it in that we won the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I would think everybody in like the general Northwest vicinity would be on that whole Seahawks bandwagon train. It's like, dude, you live there. You don't live in the Bay Area. I could totally see if it's like someone from California or like even Tennessee, like some far off place,
Yeah.
like in the Northwest. Seems a little redundant.
It's like freaking... Something about Portland pissed me off. Mostly the traffic.
I heard there's a lot of NAR people in Portland. Like everybody's really
They're
weird.
just weird. Everybody's fucking strange.
Really?
Yeah, I found this weird sign, and it was like cautioning bikers when they go over the train tracks because their bike wheels can get caught. I've never seen that sign anywhere else except for Portland. It's literally like the guy was flying off of his bike. It was hilarious. So, what else? What do you want to talk about today?
Dude, I'm down to talk some football. Because me personally, I'm an NFL guy, if y'all don't know. I have a list of the most improved teams of the offseason so far. So, Cody, I know you're a football person. Who would you think would be on that list?
And this means like so far through free agency.
Yeah,
who I think-
so before the draft, 2014 year.
the team I think that was most improved through free agency. There's two teams. One is the Denver Broncos because they got a lot of good guys on defense.
Oh, yeah.
But the other is actually the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Jaguars.
Dude, they picked up some good picks. They somehow traded what's his face to San Francisco, I think.
Who,
like-
Maurice Jones-Drew?
No, dude, Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert's gone?
Yeah, they traded.
Thank the Lord,
They
dude.
traded him to San Francisco for like a third-round pick.
I'm surprised they would spend a third-round pick
Yeah,
on him.
Blaine Gabbert. Are you kidding me?
Like, he's a pretty bad quarterback who hasn't done anything in how many years he's been playing. I know they did get rid of Maurice Jones-Drew, and it's like, I would say that's actually an improvement
Probably.
because he's pretty washed up.
But yeah, I would probably say the Denver Broncos probably the most improved team in the offseason.
Oh, Denver Broncos. What about New England? With I think they got rid of Aqib Talib.
Yeah. But then they picked up Brandon Browner
And they got Revis.
and Darrell Revis. Yeah, I don't like Darrell Revis anymore. We used to be good bros. When he was on the Jets.
Cody's a Jets fan, and he even had the Revis jersey.
Then I bought the Revis jersey, and then he gets hurt for a whole year. It's like, are you kidding me?
And then he gets traded, and then he goes to the Bucks, which is my team. I'm like, all right, I can dig it. And then when he does nothing all year, I'm like, all right, he's all right. So it didn't tear me up that we lost him.
And now he's on Carlton's team, which is the Patriots.
It all goes full circle, so he can be washed up somewhere else, which is nice because that's like $14 million a year for a cornerback that doesn't really produce like $14 million a year. $14 million is a lot of dollars.
No, yeah, I was thinking about this the other
so
day.
much.
Robinson Cano, who's the new second baseman for the Seattle Mariners, is getting paid $24 million a year for 10 years to swing a stick and throw a ball.
Dude, I think this is something that Carlton said, and I feel like this is a fact pulled out of the ass, but Miguel Cabrera makes $47,000 an at-bat. The average...
I think it's a game, not an at-bat. That's not...
The average household income in Detroit is like not even $50,000. So in one game, even if it's one game as opposed to at-bat, you get more money than a whole fucking household in like 2 hours. For like 3 at-bats. 4 at-bats.
ridiculous.
Dude, is he that good?
Miguel Cabrera is pretty good. But, yesterday reminds me, yesterday I was in Portland. There's these, like, stoner guys that are standing out in front of the stadium. And they're the dudes who are supporters of Cascadia. Those dudes who don't know what Cascadia is. Cascadia is pretty much a group that supports the thought of the Pacific Northwest, including British Columbia, secedes from the United States and Canada and forms its own country.
So basically, a little country to the very west of the United States.
Exactly.
Just imagine that. Like that. Oh, that would be so.
That'd be so awesome.
That'd be so weird.
Because I feel like the Northwest has some cool cats. Like, as weird as Portland is, like, Seattle's a fairly, like, liberal place, and they're all very understanding. It'd be a very, like, welcoming fucking country.
Yeah. It would be the nicest country in the world. We'd probably get attacked pretty quick.
Yeah.
Dude, do you think the United States would fuck us up?
Why don't...
Like, even if, let's say they let it happen...
If they let it happen...
Would there be, like, the Ku Klux Klan of Cascadia people who, like the people who don't want Cascadia to be a thing, so they're gonna, like, fuck up Cascadia?
I don't think so. I think people would be, especially people in the Northwest, I think they'd be pretty supportive of Cascadia as an idea.
I feel like if... I don't know, because it all depends, because if the American government, like, allows it to happen, I feel like they'd cut off all, like it's like you become a separate country, so you're on your own. Or they'd be like, you become a separate country, and we're gonna back you up if you get attacked.
I feel like they totally do the whole, like, you're a separate country, but we still need to have a presence in you, so we're just just gonna put a little bit of people there to make sure y'all aren't acting up.
The reason I think the U.S. would support, like, if Cascadia was a thing, the reason I think they'd support us in battle is because they don't want someone else.
No, I think they'd rather have us.
They'd rather have
than,
just a bunch of, like,
Japanese.
high people control this country.
Also, the Canadian government has to support it, because we'd be taking part of Canada.
Dude, think, what if you cut off pretty much at the west side, like those 4 states? I would think now you have so much more budget in the U.S. to sort of police a smaller place, which I think that's our problem, is we have such a large place to control as opposed to, like, a Denmark, which is so small, where that's where you can have all that cool, like, free healthcare stuff, but it's like, if the United States is smaller and you don't even have to look after as much, I feel like that's a win-win.
I think it would still be shitty.
Really?
Our government still blows. Well, it's a solid setup. They just don't use it very well.
I think the government system would probably be pretty good. I feel like that.
Do you think would be democratic?
Probably.
I feel like he'd
I
definitely...
mean, the people who support it.
Yeah, because who's really gonna start a whole new fucking system? And be like, Cascadia is no longer democratic. We are communists.
Yeah, that's when
that would be the red flag.
That would be I'm
addicted.
getting the fuck out of Cascadia.
Yeah.
If it's like, oh, we're communists now, it's like, no, dude, I ain't signed up for that.
I feel like that wasn't that Russia. Like, part of it was communist and part of it wasn't.
Not really. You know what kind of is weird about Russia?
What
That it's so big.
It's the size of Pluto.
That.
It has the same surface area as Pluto.
Pluto?
Yeah.
That's
Damn.
crazy. But it's so big that the East Coast is Asian people. When I think about Russia, I don't think about Asia at all. But the East Coast is in Asia.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
That's fat, dude.
it's huge.
How do you look after all that? Do you even?
Well, most of it's uninhabited because it's like,
Barren.
yeah, a
Wasteland,
lot of it.
pretty much.
Is it
If
really
you-
mountainy?
No, it's
It's
just
so-
it's so cold and there's not a lot of. It's hard to sustain life, like especially in the very center or in like Siberia. It's a bad place to live. But yeah, if you look at like the borders, because it's right on the edge of the. I'm pretty sure it's on the edge of the Himalayas. Or, yeah, right. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I'm no geography expert,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, all the people towards the southern or towards southern Russia, like have very Asian quality, like
So like,
facial features and stuff.
is that just because they're born over there as opposed to
No, it's just where they. It's like where the.
like geography matches?
Mhm. Yeah.
That's funky. That's a big country then.
Yeah.
It's huge, dude.
I saw this video on YouTube by Vice, I believe, like the Vice News or something. And they were looking at that new drug in Russia, Crocodile.
Crocodile. Ugh.
Yeah. That is way too gnarly.
I've never
Have you
heard
heard of it?
No,
Oh
I've
my
not
God.
heard of
Oh my
Crocodile.
goodness.
What does it do?
Like, it's
What is it?
I know. All I know is I watched some video and it's like gasoline is used to make it,
That
and
sounds-
it's basically if you're addicted for 2 years, you're dead.
I want to say you can like either inject it or smoke it, but what happens is your fucking fingers will like turn blue.
Yeah,
and
it
it'll eat
basically
your
just
skin.
eats your flesh.
And that's why they call it crocodile, because like when your flesh is eaten, it looks like scales almost.
It's actual like its scientific term is desomorphine,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no to that drug.
Yeah, and
guys.
well, that's the thing is like
sounds like
they,
a bad idea.
I want to say they had the whole documentary in Russia because that's the only place where that's a thing. Because who the fuck's gonna do that besides like Russians living in slums? Because that was the whole deal. Was like this whole town has basically been given up on. So it's like if these people aren't alcoholics or heroin junkies, like they're crocodile and
Yeah.
It's made like I'm on the Wikipedia page of it, but it says in a process it's made in a process similar to the manufacture of methamphetamine because it uses red phosphorus.
mm-hmm.
Learned that from Breaking Bad. But yeah, and I think it's because it's harder to it says due to the difficulties of procuring heroin combined with the easy and cheap access to the over-the-counter pharmacy products containing codeine in Russia, use of crocodile has increased. Ugh.
Dude, speaking of drugs and speaking of Breaking Bad, Mini, you've watched all Breaking Bad, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Alec is about to start season 5.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
For those of you who do not know, season 5 of Breaking Bad is probably the best 16 hours of television you're ever gonna find anywhere. I guarantee.
Because that's
it.
some quality fucking TV.
Like, that show is so fantastic. The way it's written, the people who act in that, everything is
I
great.
think Aaron Paul's great.
Yeah. I just wish Aaron Paul wouldn't do shit like Need for Speed.
Well, you know, it's because he's like a star now.
Yeah, he's
Breaking
just-
Bad made him fucking famous, so now it's like.
But you don't need to go do some piece of shit thing like Need for Speed.
Dude,
You're an award-winning actor.
if I could be the star of Need for Speed, I'd fucking do it.
Yeah, but whatever.
I'd do it.
Look at Bryan Cranston's doing Godzilla now. That's his newest movie. What do you guys think about? Do you think Godzilla's gonna be any good?
I think so.
I think so. I think, especially with how nice CGI is nowadays, like, it's gonna look really pretty.
I was reading that they haven't like officially announced it, but all the diehard Godzilla fans have noticed it in the trailer that there's gonna be other monsters than Godzilla. They think there's this one monster, I forgot what its name is.
Mothra.
No, not Mothra, but it's designed by the government to purposely attack Godzilla. Like it's a monster the government created to attack Godzilla. And they think that's the one that's going to be in the movie.
So there's going to be Godzilla battles?
Yeah.
Damn.
Dude.
That's
That'd
going to be pretty
sweet.
intense.
It's better than the what's it, Matthew Broderick?
Dude, I love the Matthew Broderick Godzilla. It was a love story for the ages.
There was love in Godzilla?
Yeah, he was in love with, like, his ex-girlfriend who left him to go to New York, and then Godzilla was kind of there and messed up those plans.
Dude, you know what was a love story for the ages?
What?
Titanic.
Titanic is a love story. Okay, I'm going to get something very clear to all you folks right now. Everyone is always saying that there is room for 2 people on the door. Now, let me say something. First off, you see Jack try to get on the door. She lets him try to get on the door, and it starts to sink. Because the door is not buoyant enough to support both of their weight.
Could they
Yes, we're going to discuss the episode of Mythbusters where what if in the chilling cold where they can't think clearly because the water is affecting their bodies, they would have thought, hey, let me take off Rose's life jacket and put it under the door. Then the door would have been buoyant.
But who's thinking that
Who
when the
is
fucking
thinking that?
Titanic just...
Nobody.
I don't
But
know.
Mythbusters proved that without doing that, there was not room on the door. So suck a fat one, world.
I was just thinking, like, what if... Like, there's a lot of dead people floating with life jackets.
There was room on the door, it just wouldn't have
Yeah,
floated.
it just wouldn't have floated.
Like, all it takes is a life jacket. And then, that's it?
All it took was to put one life jacket underneath the doors.
Damn, Jack. Jack.
She says she'll never let go, and then she lets go.
It meant her promise. She'll never let go of the promise she made to him.
She let him sink into the water.
Wait, so question. I haven't really seen... I've seen Titanic, like, 2 times, maybe, in my whole life. Like, these guys have seen it too many times.
I've probably
to
seen it a
count.
dozen times.
Yeah.
Like,
at
they know
least.
their shit on Titanic. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but did Rose meet Jack, like, right when they went on the Titanic?
Yeah,
So how many days was that until...
2.
So 2 days, and they're, like, deeply, madly in love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's love at first sight.
Alright.
Mitch, have you ever found love at first sight? I haven't.
Have I ever found love at first sight? I would say in my 17 years, no. But I've had, like, a connection before where it's like you can look at someone and you could be like, wow, I'd get along with them and I know it.
Mhm.
And then you talk to them and it's like, wow, I really did get along with them.
Yeah, I know what you're
I
saying.
feel like that's totally a real thing. Like, you can sense people's vibes a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, give off something that you would receive, or, like, you can just tell that they're on the same level.
Definitely.
What about you guys? Love at
Have
first
I-
sight?
I don't think I've ever been like seen someone and been like, I'm in love with that person. But yeah, I agree. I've definitely had the connection. I mean, I've had 3 relationships before. I'm currently in one right now, and I mean, I do have that connection, or I've had that connection with people.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, I don't know if I believe necessarily in love at first sight, but I
Mhm.
definitely believe in the thought that, like, when you meet someone, you could be like, wow, this could really go somewhere. You know,
Mhm.
like, this could really be something
Yeah.
special. And then it develop into that special thing.
It's always a great feeling.
But maybe that's just because I'm, like, a cynical, sad bastard, and so I try
Mhm.
not to get my hopes up about anything.
I think definitely, like, expectations almost take away from your nowness, in a sense, of where, like, I think that's why we're always never satisfied, is because we always have expectations, like,
yeah.
that this is what's needs to happen for the moment to be perfect.
Exactly.
And then when that doesn't happen, the moment's not perfect, but really, the way the moment unfolded is fucking perfect.
Exactly.
So love it. Like, why are we not satisfied ever? Like, even in a sense of relationships or phones or whatever it is, like, is that just human nature?
It's just human nature. It's weird like that. People are weird and different, but that's life.
That's life.
I don't think anybody wants to hear you say that.
But dude, it's Frank Sinatra.
Oh, okay. So, when I was at my cabin in the summer, I had some buddies, Mini Mitch here, was sitting around a fire with, I believe, Isaac and my friend Chris Euban. And they were just discussing, like, what the meaning of life was, you know, as men do. And they decided that Shrek is love and that Shrek is life.
Because Shrek is fucking life.
But
what?
very recently, totally unknown to me, I don't know if this is just a huge coincidence or not, but I found this video on YouTube called Shrek is Love. And it was the most scarring video I have ever seen in my entire life.
Where did you find the video Shrek is Love?
This other YouTube channel I follow, they tweeted, "Ready to have your childhood ruined," and then they posted a link. And I was like, what? So I click on the link, and it just starts with this guy sitting in his room. Shrek, like, posters, Shrek, everything all over. And it's like an animated movie. And he's just like, I love Shrek. And Shrek is life. I wish I could meet Shrek. I wish I could. My dad hates me for my love of Shrek. And then out of nowhere, Shrek walks into the room, and he's like, oh my Shrek, my mighty Shrek. Shrek grabs me and turns me over.
Oh, I've heard about
What
this.
the fuck?
And Shrek gave it to me.
No!
And it hurt so bad, but I wanted to please Shrek. How I love Shrek.
Sounds weird.
And then
Oh
Shrek, like,
my
flies out the window. Like,
sounds so
literally, he
fucked
just
up.
fucking flies away. And you're like, what just happened? So, honestly, if you want to see the creepiest thing ever, go look up Shrek is Love on YouTube.
I don't know if I want to,
I-
Cody.
I promise you it'll ruin your childhood.
I'm watching right now, and I don't have any sound on, and it's really weird. Shrek hasn't come in yet.
I'm trying to remember why we thought Shrek was love and Shrek was life. I think it goes back to the fucking
Dude, Shrek's
Chris.
in his room.
Chris. We were all around the campfire, and Chris was talking about his girlfriend, right? And he was talking about, like, you gotta fucking love her, man.
you
You gotta take care of her, man.
gotta
You gotta
love
fucking
her.
love her.
You gotta love your woman.
And when he said it, he
sounded-
sounded a little bit like Shrek.
Oh.
And that's so for the rest of the
God.
trip, we'd be playing fucking Yahtzee. And we'd be, right before we roll the dice, you gotta fucking love her, man. You gotta love her. And then he'd roll it.
I will say
like,
right now,
That was our
Yahtzee.
thing.
Yahtzee's an underrated game. A lot of people don't play Yahtzee, but you can have some fucking fun time.
I would pick Yahtzee 4 times over Boggle. Or
Oh, yeah.
Scrabble or something.
I would pick Yahtzee over Scrabble.
You know what? I think depending on the time and the place, I would put Yahtzee on par with Dominoes because you have to be in a certain mood for either one.
No, I've never been in the mood for. I've never been like, I want to play fucking dominoes
Dude.
today.
I feel like I have this vision of people who play Dominoes, and it's either old people or it's like some drunk 35-year-olds, and they all have like a glass of whiskey and they're playing Dominoes, talking shit.
Probably.
I feel like that's like the demographic for Dominoes is like 35 plus single.
You must
2
be
kids.
age 35 or older, and have at least popped out 2 children to
Yeah,
be
like
able to
Yahtzee, you just
enjoy-
have to fucking count up to like 36. That's pretty easy.
I love Yahtzee.
What is that game that we played where you have to get to 10,000? What is that? Is that Sharkle?
There's like a real name
Farkle.
for it.
Isn't it something like that?
My family's always just called it dice because you just fucking roll dice.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a real name for it.
That game's fun.
It's a fun game. We should do a let's play.
Of
Let's
dice?
play dice. Let's roll dice.
So I just watched that video without sound.
Is your childhood ruined?
Yeah, I think my whole life is ruined. Oh my god. It's not ogre, it's never ogre. Shrek is love, Shrek is life. That's the quote at the end.
So, after watching the video, can you conclude that Shrek is indeed love and
I
life?
don't know. I I don't really know how I feel about that video. Not good. That's how I feel. I feel not good. I don't think Shrek is love and Shrek is life. Mm-mm. Not even in the slightest.
Not even a little
Nope.
bit. You gotta fucking love her.
You know what upsets me?
What up?
It upsets me that, well, first off, it upsets me that Breaking Bad is over because I really don't know what to watch on TV right now.
Mm-hmm.
Game of Thrones comes back tonight.
Is Game of Thrones good?
Dude, Game of Thrones is
fantastic.
like the greatest thing other than Breaking Bad I've ever seen on TV.
I've never seen it.
It's
Don't you
great.
need HBO to have it?
Yeah, I've got it all on DVD and stuff.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I got the DVD series.
I'll just
or
let you
sets.
borrow it.
Oh, dude. I'd be down. Because I've always wanted to see it, and I've heard awesome things about it.
If you
I've never
like
seen it.
Lord of the Rings and boobs.
And
this is-
incest.
And, yeah, this is
Oh,
for
okay.
you. And child murder.
What else is there?
There's a lot
castration.
of castration.
Oh, okay. Castration.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. All sorts of fun
If
stuff.
you like a little bitch is king,
Okay.
do watch
But
it.
there's boobs?
Actually, no, it's great. I love
It's
the show.
fantastic. Yeah,
I'm
but
down.
there's a lot of boobs.
There
So
are, especially the first episode.
if you don't like boobs,
Then don't
then
watch
don't
it.
watch it.
Who's gonna say they don't like boobs? Like, I was just thinking in my mind, who's really... Like, I can think...
I don't know. I don't.
Are
think-
there girls
I
who
don't-
don't like boobs? Like, they have boobs.
That's a good question. Like, do girls not enjoy having boobs?
Would you get offended
I
if you
feel like
saw
I don't
boobs?
know. That is a good question.
Would that be like guys seeing a penis?
I don't want. No. Well,
I don't think
first
it
off,
is.
you do see a couple penises
'Cause
in
it's
the
like-
show.
And they're always flaccid.
Because it's like, as dudes...
Wiener.
As dudes who like girls, I would think when you see other dudes' D, it's not like, oh yeah. It's like, alright, I could live without seeing that. Is that the same thing with boobs?
I don't know. I don't know, because if I'm watching TV or something and a dick comes on, I'm like, oh man, do they really have to put a dick on TV?
Yeah, every time.
But I don't know, like, there's been a lot more boobs on TV than dicks in the history of TV.
Yeah.
Because I feel like boobs are fairly tame on the scale of like things that are bad. And it's like boobs, and then it goes to the pee, and then it goes to like the lady part. And if it shows the lady part, that's a
Dude,
porno.
you see plenty of
That's a
plenty of-
porno.
you see plenty of completely naked women.
Really?
Head
Yeah.
to toe naked women.
You know what's
Is
actually
that
really...
what's on HBO? Like HBO can do their own shit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can do anything.
Oh hell yeah.
You know what's really kind of interesting is how how censored shows were, and like for example, my dad he flies for a living, and he went on this flight with his captain who would homeschool. He homeschooled his kids, and they lived out in the country for a while, and they didn't have they every Sunday they would watch a movie or something. And it was always old movies, and they didn't have cable.
Mhm.
And then one day they watched The Dark Knight, and his kids were so freaked out about how violent it was. And it's just weird to think that back in the old day, I mean, even since probably the 90s, we've been way more comfortable with what we see.
I
on
would
TV.
say since the movie Pulp Fiction came out, movies started getting extra violent.
Really? Do you think even TV and video games that rubs
Yeah.
off on everything? Because I would think
Although I think the argument that playing violent video games makes someone violent completely horseshit.
I
yeah.
saw a picture, and it was it had a picture of Grand Theft Auto and then Goat Simulator, and it was like, if this makes me a killer, this makes me a goat. Because Goat Simulator is the new goat.
that's fucking
It's a
true.
new game.
But don't you kill people as the goat in Goat
I
Simulator?
think so.
I watched a playthrough of Goat Simulator, and it was a goat flying through a house and blowing up the house.
So it's not just like you have to eat all this grass.
No, it's like
Oh, I thought it was
literally
like a
he's at a
straight
gas
goat.
station and he fucking bites something at the gas station. The gas station blows up. The fucking goat flies through a building and burns the building down.
One thing I think that may change sort of our stance almost, or our comfortableness with violence, like what you were saying, is think back to the very first Grand Theft Auto game, and I would think it's not as HD killing someone. You can't necessarily kill a hooker with a fucking bazooka. I don't know, and especially how many Call of Duties were there. Call of Duties are a fucking fun thing to do, and I would think it's a staple game that most people play now.
Yeah.
It's just
Definitely.
they just weren't those games back then.
And
It
you know,
was
I play the
N64.
Call of Duties, I play the violent video games, and I have never in my life been like, you know, today seems like a good day to go murder people. Like that, I've never even crossed my mind.
I think the closest thing that's crossed my mind is when I'm driving and I'm like, in Grand Theft Auto, I could totally just cross everything. And I could totally cross this field right now, but then I realized in any car, especially my Civic, like, it's definitely not going to go like that.
I think the closest to ever thinking about murdering someone I've been is like I'm standing on something tall that's really shaking, like, whoa, dude, if this falls, we would all die.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That happened a lot during the
Yeah, but do
musical.
you think, whoa, dude, if I broke this out, I would kill everyone? No, you don't think that.
No, I've never been like that.
What's the most afraid you've been for your life, ever?
Afraid for my life.
Like, most dangerous thing you've ever done?
That's really difficult.
I
feel
could-
like
I know a time where it's like, I definitely didn't need to be as panicked as I was, but I was fucking so scared. It was, I went to Moses Lake in the summer with my dad and my sister and a bunch of other people, and we were camping at Potholes Reservoir, which is right on the lake. And I was gonna go fishing, so I walked on the little trail to go fish, and I was fishing, and then I was coming back, and I was like, I don't want to go walk all the way on the trail. I'll just walk on the shore. Because it's like, you can walk on the shore for a little bit, and then you can, like, see everybody, like, all the family hanging out near the water. And it's a little bit of ways, but I'm like, oh, I'm 10 years old, I can do this. And so I had my fucking tackle box in one hand, and my fishing pole, and I get in the water, and it's only, like, ankle deep. And I'm like, I fucking got this. And then it gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's so, like, there's so much brush, like, so close to shore where it's like, there's no going back, and there's fucking plants coming out of the water, and the water's getting deeper, and I'm trying to hold the tackle box up, and I'm getting stuck, and I'm like, holy fuck, I'm gonna die right now. And I definitely didn't need to think that I was gonna die, because it's like, dude, you can see everybody. Like, you're not even that far away, but I started crying, and what got me through it was, I was singing Move Along by All American Rejects, because you guys remember the Bionicle movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, when that was on the trailer, I was like, that is the best song ever. And I was just 10 years old singing
Okay,
Move
you're 10.
Along, like, trying to truck through this muddy-ass water that's up to, like, my chest and get into my neck. And then when I got to land, I cried. And I was like, oh my god, I made it! And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? You went fishing.
I think when mine is all I remember from it was we went my family decided to go hiking, and I don't remember, we went on some like different trail than we were supposed to go, and all I remember from there, like, two things I specifically remember from the hike, and one was there was a cliff, probably like this might be my 7-year-old mind exaggerating, because I doubt my parents would have put us on a cliff, like a straight cliff, but the way I saw it was a straight cliff, like it was on a cliff side, and it was like a 2-foot ledge, and I remember looking down and seeing this patch of snow, and it looked like a skull and crossbones, and I was like literally hugging. I was so afraid that I was gonna fall off. And then the only other thing I remember is we had to squeeze past this giant log, but that didn't scare me. But I mean, looking down and thinking like, oh wow, that looks like a skull.
That's
When
scary.
it scared the crap.
Especially
out
on
of
a
me.
fat cliff.
Yeah.
What about you, Cody?
I started thinking about it. I'm like a pussy. I'm gonna say that right now. I'm a little bitch. I hate putting myself in situations that can potentially kill me. Like, I was up in Seattle, there's this place called Gasworks Park, and it's got all these old, like, tubing and, like, huge water tower-like things and stuff, and something, that I was there with my buddies, and they just start free climbing to the top of this thing, like grabbing onto tiny little nuts and bolts, and they're climbing all the way to the top. And they're like, "Come on, dude, you can climb up here." But like the thing was,
No.
there's most of it. There's parts where it was only upper body. Your legs aren't holding on to anything, and it's a 40-50 foot drop to the
Back
ground.
Mm-mm.
And I was like, no way. But I think the dangerous situation I've ever been in is probably up at my cabin with my river.
Mm-hmm.
there's some summers where the river is just raging really fast and super fast, and I want to cross the river, and so what I do is I'll just start swimming for the other side, but I'm getting carried down river at the same time, so it's like pretty terrifying. If I like catch a tree or something and get sucked under or get carried away down the river, I could die, but I usually never worry about it because I'm a strong enough swimmer to swim across.
I think one of my biggest fears is drowning.
Oh yeah.
Because I just hate the feeling of not being able to breathe. Like, I hate not being able to breathe through my nose. And, like, whenever... I'm also fairly claustrophobic. Like, it's not a huge issue.
Mm-hmm. But
like,
it's
if
still,
I'm stuck in a small room. But
it's still, like, a thing.
yeah, like,
I
for
totally
example,
feel
there were
it.
these in my elementary school, there were these huge tires. And I used to be one of the smallest kids. I mean, I've always been, one of the smallest kid in my class. But, I would go in, there were the big, like, huge ones, and there were also big ones, but they were smaller than the others, and I could fit in the small ones, and then when I go in the big ones, all my friends would try to cram in too, and I'd always be in the back, and that would scare me, like, if they all got stuck, and then I got stuck, I would freak out, and, like, start shoving people, and...
My biggest fear for, like, a way to die is definitely, like, suffocation. Like, I don't want to be in, like, a burning down house.
Yeah, fires definitely.
And, like, not be able to breathe.
Yeah.
That's when
I just hate the feeling of not being able to breathe.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm underwater for too long, and I'm swimming up to the surface, so, like, I dive down to the bottom of the pool, and then I start not being able to breathe. I start swimming faster because I'm freaking out.
Alright, let's get morbid. If you could choose the way you die, what would you choose?
Ooh. Probably... It's a good one.
Is in your sleep an option?
Yeah, like, you don't even realize you die, you just, like, you don't wake
Would
up.
I have a heads up, like, hey, dude, when you go to sleep on, like, April 23rd, 2060, like, that's just your day. Like, do I get a heads
Okay,
up on that?
There's a better question I'd ask. If you could know the day of your death, you don't know what you don't get to know the circumstances.
You just know that you die
But-
on this day.
But someone gets to tell you, this is the day you die. Would you want that? Would you ask for that?
I don't know, because I feel like I'd change the way I live my life.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
for
sit
sure.
around and watch 15 hours of Netflix a day.
I feel like
and
it
go out and do
definitely...
stuff. But then again, it also
And-
freaked me out because I wouldn't want to...
And keep in mind, this would almost be like a superpower. Like, you know your date of death, and that cannot change.
I think in all honesty, if it came down to it, I probably would want to know it just because, like, what you were saying, I think in the end, that's probably going to be a better thing.
But what if
because
you discover that you're going to die, like, next year?
Then I'll fucking leave it up for
I
a
think,
year.
to be honest, if I figure that out, it'd probably be better because then...
You wouldn't waste your last year in high school.
My last year. I wouldn't spend my last year in high school. I'd hitchhike around the... Like, I'd do something not... I'd go see things. I wouldn't spend my years sitting in classes.
Exactly, or watching TV.
Because there's no... If I know I'm going to die 2016, I'm not going to... I'm just not going to waste it for, like, spending my time getting an education
That you're not
that
gonna
I'm not
use.
going to need.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go visit, like, Europe.
No, I think I would want to know.
Would you
when I
tell
would
your
die.
Would you tell your friends and family?
No.
I think I'd probably.
I'd probably
my
tell, like,
dad,
one person.
because I'd probably tell my dad just because he's the only person that would be. I mean, not the only person that'd be willing. He's the only person that I'd be able to go do those things with.
Well, just to let you know now,
It's like it's not like I can fly to Europe. I don't have money to fly to
if
Europe.
either of you
so-
drop out of high school, now I'm just going to think that you know your death date. You're going to die.
Dude, one thing, sort of on this note, not dropping out of high school, but this thought that I had earlier this week. Have you guys ever wanted to just travel to like a Norway or Switzerland or
Yeah.
something like that,
Yeah.
or Denmark, like some little country, and see what's going on? That would be.
Definitely.
I think that's something
I might
that,
be going to New Zealand this year.
that's on the list, man.
Yeah, because
The things to do.
there's an operation that my dad would go on that takes him down to Antarctica, and he would go do that, and then we would come down the week after that and
Really?
spend like 2 weeks in New Zealand. And I asked him, I was like, why couldn't we just go with you? And he's like, because you'd be left alone. I was like, Dad, if I'm left alone in New Zealand, like I would just wander.
Mhm.
Like that would be
I just adventure in New Zealand.
Like he's like, well, yeah, but you'd be at like a resort or something. That's where we stay. And I was like, well, it doesn't matter. Like, I could still probably venture around there.
Dude, I would quit my job and go with you.
You'd quit. Yeah, that.
Oh
Yeah.
hell yeah! For like 2 months in New Zealand. Fuck yeah.
New Zealand would be awesome.
Like this is a legit possibility that I've been thinking of. Is like, what if you started in like Switzerland or Norway or something, and you got a plane ticket there, and you have a few $1,000s, and you're like, all right, I've been saving up for how many years for this? I'm gonna make it last, and then whenever I'm running low on money, I'll make sure I buy a plane ticket, and then I'm back home and do it all over again if I wanted to. Like, that seems... Is that irrational to think
No,
that's
actually
a possibility?
I'm doing a very similar thing. Summer 2015, I'm
Mhm.
going to Europe for 2 months.
With who?
I don't know, myself and anyone else who wants to come.
Dude, I'd do that. That'd be that's the summer
Okay.
I graduate.
It's
Mhm.
I've already calculated all the costs. It'd be $5,000 to spend about 2 months in Europe. Just
Are you talking about like? What is that money? Is that for like hotel costs?
it pretty much costs $50 a day.
Would you be going
I
to
feel like
just,
that
a motel
sounds
or
too
something?
cheap. To
No,
me.
because you stay in hostels or free living.
Have you ever seen the movie Hostel?
Yes, I'm telling you, it's not as bad as you think. My brother did this when he was.
I probably
after-
will not go to Poland, so I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Literally, this is what you buy the Euro Pass, which is like a train pass that lets you like hop on the train and go anywhere you want in Europe, and you eat cheap, and you sleep cheap, and it's not about buying things or anything. The whole point of the trip is to go see things, go explore.
Yeah, I'd get a
meet
camera
people.
before I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, I really want to go do that now.
Yeah.
You guys will both be out of high school if you want to
That's
come.
true.
It'd be fucking gnar.
Definitely two things that I know in my life I want to do. I know for a fact, probably, I wanted to do this initially when I graduated, but the more I think about it, the more I may wait till I'm 21, but traveling across the U.S., I want to do a fat loop starting up north.
Chris McCandless style.
Up north with, like, Chandler
Just
or
don't
something.
die.
And we just go do a fat loop, go to the East Coast, go down near Florida, down to Louisiana, and then just do a full circle. Because I definitely think, like I like Washington, but there's 50 states. Like, why would you not take advantage of the fact that they're right next to you?
Yeah, this summer, actually, I was having a debate with my dad. I was like, hey, Dad, I think I'm going to go take a 2-week vacation this summer and just drive around the country. And then what he suggested instead, which I think I'm going to do, is go to Yellowstone for 2 weeks. Camp at Yellowstone, because there's so much room to explore at Yellowstone, and I've never been.
Where is Yellowstone?
Oh,
Is that near Utah?
I want to say it's near like Montana. It's more like
I'm not sure.
Is it Wyoming? I don't know.
It's one of those middle-ish states, though.
Yeah, it's not too far. It's like just by Idaho, like just on the other side of Idaho.
That would be so cool, though. Because Yellowstone, that's a big place.
So I mean, if you guys, it might just go for a week, but if you guys wanted to go on a week-long camping trip this summer, and I would advise that on anybody, dude. While you're young and like mobile, go out, go camp, go hike, go see nature and
One
everything.
of the mistakes I made this past summer was I just basically stayed inside the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And there were the occasional days I'd go up to Seattle, but that was basically I'd stay inside with my girlfriend, then go to Cody's house at night.
Mm-hmm.
And then there'd be and then towards the end, it was literally I'd just stay inside with my girlfriend, then go to sleep and do the exact same thing.
That's why
It's
And it's just it was a waste. I mean, like, yeah, I had a really good time because, I mean, I really enjoyed my relationship at the time, but like now that I look back, there were so many opportunities I could have done over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
In this summer, anytime I'm working, I'm just gonna work for the week and go up to my cabin and explore the mountains during summer or during the weekend. It's just what I'm gonna do. It'll be such a fun time. I want to get around. I want to see all the mountains in this state. There's so much of this state
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a chance to explore.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, Washington's got everything. It's got the deserty summers on the east side. It has so much mountains where you can explore, and then you have the fucking Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, dude.
The
Honestly,
biggest fucking ocean.
so many people that live in the state of Washington rag on it, like about how crappy it is to live here. It's not California sun, whatever. But dude, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else growing up. Like, it's been a great experience living here. There's so much to do in this state. It's all a matter of getting out of the house and going and doing it.
And it's a matter of how much do you want to do it.
Yeah.
How much would you rather sit at home and watch TV?
It's a life lesson for anyone, no matter where you live. If you think there's nothing to do in your hometown, you're not being creative enough.
Yeah.
My buddies and I, there is literally nothing to do in this town. But we make our own fun. That's what it takes.
Like, even just going on a walk. Like, I'll occasionally go on walks down to the harbor. And it's so awesome at night because it's all lit up still, but there's no people there.
Yeah.
And it's so, and we'll go down to the beach, and then I'll go to the dock, and it's just...
And literally, it's not like...
It's a different experience than visiting the town in the day.
Yeah, it's not like you even have to do something that requires... It's not like, hey, babe, let's go see a movie, let's go bowling. Like, that's all stuff that we've done before, obviously, but it's like...
There are plenty of free options.
Yeah, there's something to be said about just sitting on a beach with your friend and just talking.
Sitting on a cliffside.
Kopachuk State Park.
Yeah, that's right next to us. We have a state park.
You know, I like to go camping there sometimes because at night you can walk down to the beach and just enjoy the scenery.
I've always really wanted to camp on Dead Man's Island.
I've never been there, and
You've
I've
never
always
been
wanted
there?
to go
I
there.
have camped on Dead
I'm pretty sure I put my hand in human poop there once.
What is
gross.
Dead Man's Island like?
So Dead Man's Island is an area in the Puget Sound here in Washington State where it's called Dead Man's Island for a bunch of reasons, but like the rumors and legends I've been told is that like Native Americans are buried on Dead Man's Island, and so they call it Dead Man's because it's haunted. But it's this podunk little island. It's probably no bigger than 100 foot by 300 feet.
Yeah.
Like, why? It's the smallest thing ever. But it's just off of Raft Island.
It's really tall.
It's super fun to explore, and you can go with your buddies and take a boat out there. I canoed there once. That was the worst thing ever. But what's awesome?
I'd kayak there.
What's awesome about this this little island is once a day, the tide gets low enough for there to be a sandbar that you can walk from the other island, Raft Island, to Dead Man's.
Yeah.
So if you time your trip right, you can walk onto the island without getting wet and then walk back without getting wet.
Oh, I just had this thought. If you walked there, because you're like, hey, the sandbar, and then you spend your time adventuring Dead Man's, and then the tide rises, and you're stuck on fucking Dead Man's Island with human poop. That's like a bad fucking night.
Well, that's what you bring. I made the mistake when I camped on Dead Man's. We had no tent, no blankets, no anything. We had a pack of 20 uncooked hot dogs, and I think a bag of pretzels.
That's all you brought.
Yes.
Why would you not bring a tent at least, dude?
Because we hadn't convinced everyone to stay the night out there yet.
Oh, okay, so it was just like, hey, we'll go here and make some hot dogs and pretzels.
So you brought hot dogs and pretzels.
Yeah.
That was it. No water.
We didn't
no
even
nothing.
bring buns for the hot dogs.
How did you cook the hot dogs?
We got sticks and we somehow made a fire. I think one of us had like matches. I think we brought matches or something. But we made a fire, and then we just roasted the hot dogs over it.
Where'd you sleep? Just in the
On the beach. We 4-man spooned because it was so cold. The wind was howling that night.
Dude, you gotta do what you gotta do.
And I was the outside spoon, and it was so cold. The two people on the inside in the morning were like, oh, it was so warm last night. And I was fucking cold all night. I was never comfortable. But anyway, it's all about getting out and exploring the world.
Yeah.
I think stuff like that is fun.
It's good memories.
And especially, like, I feel like as of the past year or two, I've been slowly realizing it more and more as I'm growing up. Like, that's the stuff that I want to live for. And I think that's the stuff that I do live for, is those nights where literally you have nothing but just your best buds and the moon. That's literally all you need. If you want to be fun, if you want to be happy, like, if you want to enjoy your time, it's literally a choice to do so.
Yeah. What's your guys' like favorite spur of the moment thing you've ever done?
Oh my god, you two. Y'all need to sit down for a second.
Is this the...
This is the ocean. Me and my buddy, I have a really good friend. His name's Chandler. And we became really good friends sophomore year. And then junior year comes around, and you could say we're Lewis and Clark. That's what we call each other. I'm Clark, and he's Lewis. And sort of like what I was saying with you guys. I went to this leadership conference, and this one guy, Mike Smith, he talked about how he made a list of things he wanted to do by the time he graduated. And I was like, that's a good fucking idea. Because at the time, I was sick and tired of doing the same old shit. Go to school, go home, play Xbox, go to sleep, repeat.
Yeah.
And so this was October-ish, and that was when we decided, dude, we're going to make a list. Alright, what thing do we want to do? And we wanted to go see the fucking Pacific Ocean. Because it's like, we live in Washington, and we're a solid, from Gig Harbor to the coast, it's like 3 hours, if that. So we're like, dude, awesome idea. How about I just say I'm going to your house, you say you're going to my house, and then everything will be fine and dandy. We can go to the coast, we have some Mountain Dew, we have some Chips Ahoy, we have some barbecue pretzels, or some barbecue Pringles, and a little bit of reefer, and it'll be an awesome night. And so that was the plan. And so we left at 4, and by the time we get to the ocean, it's like maybe 8 o'clock, and it's nightfall.
Yeah.
It's nightfall, and it wasn't like Ocean Shores to where it's like an actual town. It's like we straight drove until we found a road that led to a beach. And we parked my little Civic there. I got my license like 2 weeks before, and we're like, dude, we fucking made it. And it was so cool because it was like I was saying with those special moments, it's like all we had was like the moon and a car and a buddy. And that was probably one of the best nights I've ever had. We played catch, like with a football, and it was a full moon outside, so we had nothing but the light illuminating us. And I think for 20 minutes we didn't catch a single pass, but it was still like we'd throw it, and it'd either be an overthrow or just bounce off our hands, and then we pick it up like nothing fucking happened, and we just throw it back and forth for 20 minutes. Like, I don't know, I think it's when you stop worrying about dropping the ball and just being happy that you're throwing the ball.
Yeah.
That's when life is awesome. And if you want to know, YouTube, the rest of the story didn't really go out as planned. We did the switcheroo hoping that it would work. And he tried calling his mom later that night to check in and be like, hey, so I'm at Mitch's house. Apparently the ocean has shitty 3G, so the call never went through. So when I wake up and take my phone off airplane mode at 8 in the morning, I have 5% battery, and I get every single message and missed call from the night before, and it just gets like, you get one text message, and then the next one, and it gets progressively worse and worse, like, where are you? Where the fuck are you? You need to get your ass home right now. We're calling the cops. Like it definitely spiraled, but the reason why I still think that was one of the best nights I've ever had is it's like, on our drive home, we were sort of sulking in the fact for a good like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, at least me, being like, oh my god, when we get home, our ass is grass. Like, we are so fucked, it's unbelievable.
I think...
But then, when we spent our time enjoying the 3-hour car ride back, and we're still like, dude,
Yeah.
we still got 3 hours. We got a Sublime CD.
That's all you need,
We
dude.
got some fucking trees and a nice blue sky with a little bit of fog at the top. Like,
That's life.
you couldn't ask for anything else.
What about you, Alec? What's your favorite spur of the moment
To be honest,
trip?
I think it was with my dad, because it was spring break last year.
Yeah.
And I'm staying the night here at Cody's, and I wake up, and my dad comes and picks me up, and he goes, hey, you want to go to Disneyland today? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? So we go home, we pack our bags, and we leave for Disneyland. And it's just really, like, it was just, my dad wanted to go do something, because we couldn't go on a big trip, because I had this huge battle of the bands towards the end of the week. And he just wanted to get out because he knew we had a break. My younger sister was with her friends in, like, Hawaii or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just me and my twin, Hannah. And my dad just goes, hey, let's go to Disneyland. So we literally just went home, packed, and left for Disneyland that night. We were there for like a day, but it was awesome because I don't know. It was a really good experience, and I just had a lot of like, Hannah got sick, so it was just me and my dad hanging out. I mean, it was still pretty sweet hanging out with my dad in Disneyland.
Especially something like that you didn't even expect to
Yeah.
happen like that. Like, oh, we're going to fucking Disneyland. Man.
What about you, Cody?
Well, I think for me, it's definitely the Voodoo Donut night. And so what happened is it's the final night before my last day of high school ever. It's 12:30, and like I said earlier, I'm always the bitch of the group, right? So my friends would be like, "Let's do this really ballsy thing," and I'll always be like, "No, you guys are stupid," blah blah blah.
I think Tommy is that person.
Yeah. And that night, I was like, "Oh, guys, Voodoo Donuts sound really good." And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, let's go get some," like jokingly. And the joke is, Voodoo Donuts, the nearest shop is in Portland, Oregon, which is a
Your favorite city.
2.5 hour drive from where we live. And the guy's like, "Let's go get donuts," jokingly. And I go, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's go get donuts." And it's 12:30. I have to be at school at 6:30. And we're like, "Screw it. Let's go." We hop in the car and we head down to Portland. And we were in Portland for maybe 15 minutes, but we bought like 100+ donuts. And then we came back.
Dude, I never even got one of those.
It was for seniors only.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So we came back, made it to school by 6 o'clock, and then I spent the day passing out free donuts to all the seniors.
That's cool as fuck.
And it was like the most gratifying. It was the best way to end high school I could have ever asked for.
Really?
Because I was going, it didn't matter if I knew the senior or not, they got a donut. Like, everyone got a donut.
That's really awesome. Yeah, some of the other, I don't know if these, some of our other friends, I don't know if they're part of the BroDen or not, but they're all in mine and Mitch's grade, where we're juniors, and they did a similar thing. We had, most of them were in the musical, which just recently ended, and it was after a show, and they were all hanging out, and they were sitting there pretty bored, and Colin or Jacob go, "Dude, let's just go down to Portland," and everyone's like, "Oh, okay, all right." So they just walked out of Caleb's house, drove down to Portland, did the exact same thing, brought back like 2 buckets of donuts, and came back, and they were gonna go tell Caleb's mom in the morning because they were spending the night there, and she goes, "Yeah, so how's your road trip?" And she was totally fine, it's really weird because Caleb's parents are fairly strict.
Mm-hmm.
Like Caleb's dad's a cop, and I mean they're really nice people, and I really like them. But yeah, I mean they're pretty strict parents, and they were totally okay with it. Like they thought it was awesome.
But
it was really cool.
The moral of these stories is some of the best memories you can ever make are on spur-of-the-moment decisions. So never take them jokingly. If you have a friend, regardless of where you live, who is like, "Hey, let's drive to our state's major city tonight, and we'll just go walk around the city." Just go fucking do it.
I'm going to a metal concert in May because
Yeah,
Dave and
I'm going. I don't even like metal,
I don't
but
like
I'm
metal
going to a
either.
metal concert because I want to know what it's like.
Probably gonna.
It's probably gonna be the worst experience ever. I'm probably gonna get punched in the
I
face.
think it'd be like the real Big Fish mosh, but much more aggressive. Like, people are not holding back the elbows.
There's probably gonna be a few walls.
The thing about ska music is people are like helping you up when you fall down.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure you go to a metal concert, you fall on the ground, someone steps on you, like on purpose.
Yeah, there's a wall of death where like people part and then just charge at each other.
What?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that sounds pretty fun. That sounds very gnar, but that sounds fun.
Okay, so what's the like the stupidest on the spot decision you've ever made?
See, to be honest, I really haven't done that many spontaneous things. Because I've always either been at home or when my friends decide to do this stuff, or I don't know.
I've got a lot of pretty dumb ones.
Okay, you go. You go first.
Some that I shouldn't share on BroTalk, so I'm not going to. All I'll say...
What about walking to a cliff and then having Sam fall down and break his leg?
Oh yeah, so
Or-
there's a good one.
No.
I'll say one for Carlton. I think the dumbest thing he's ever done is he rode in the trunk of a car all while I think that's actually the dumbest decision I've ever made. Was all my buddies were like, we're gonna go out and have a good time tonight, and me being the bitch I am was like, I'm gonna sleep. And then they come back with the greatest story ever about how they stole a gnome and got pulled over, and then they got caught with the stolen gnome, and the whole time that the cop has them pulled over, Carlton is sitting in the fucking trunk of the car. Oh man, and I missed that whole night because I wanted to take a nap.
Was it worth it?
Not at all.
Not at all. What was your stupidest though that you've ever done?
The stupidest thing I've ever done was I was riding my longboard, and I was with some guys who were really skilled longboarders, and I'm okay. I was fair. I wasn't like the best. But they would bomb these huge hills. And I would go too. I'd just be like, fuck it. I got to nut up. I just got to do it. And there's one hill we wanted to bomb. But the problem is, at the bottom of the hill, it turns. And this is a street. This is like an open street. And at the very bottom, it turns and goes around and it's blocked. You can't see the end. So I'm like, fuck it, let's go. We bomb this hill. As we round the turn, there's a school bus stopped and kids are crossing the street.
Oh, fuck.
And so we're fucking flying around, we're screaming for these kids to get out of the way.
Fuck.
And the kids are fucking running out, and we just zip right by the bus. The bus is fucking honking the horn, and we just took off and we ran and hid, and then the cops showed up trying to arrest us and stuff.
Whoa. What?
Stupidest decision I've ever made right there. But it was the craziest bomb ever. Moral of that story is always make sure you have a watch guy at the bottom of the hill when you can't see the turn.
I didn't even get... Oh, actually one of my favorite spontaneous moments that I did is I used to longboard quite a lot. Like it'd be like every weekend. My friend Drew and I, we would just go out and we'd longboard all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this one this like skate thing in Tacoma. And Drew's like, hey dude, wanna go? And I was like, sure, why not? And it was mainly for skateboarders, but then we're just kind of sitting there. It goes, dude, look at that hill. I was like, that's so cool. So we just start bombing and doing slides and all this stuff down this busy street in Tacoma, and it was awesome. It was really cool. That was probably one of my favorite, other than the Disneyland trip. But I mean, to be honest, I don't have any many spontaneous.
We're gonna change
stories.
that. We're gonna be spontaneous,
Dude. And I also think Alec and I, we're 17.
Yeah.
So it's like, especially when you're in school and you got parents like deciding when you can be out and not, like that definitely restricts your ability to
That's
fucking
true.
do a Portland trip or whatever it may be, even the ocean.
Yeah.
Like you gotta, if you're really looking for some spontaneous things, I think it gets easier as you get older, and especially once we graduate, Alec, like it's not even gonna be a problem just to be like, hey, let's go to Portland.
Definitely.
See
I mean,
what
my
Canada's
parents are
about.
pretty. My parents, they trust me a lot, and so
Mhm.
I think. I mean, they're not. I don't know how many times they're gonna let me just leave for Portland, but I mean, I'll be with my friends, and my dad will be like, "Hey," like my friends will be spending the night. My dad will be like, "Hey, if you guys want to leave and go get food or something, don't wake me up. Just go." I mean, so they'll do that, and
Yeah.
I mean, they trust me. They trust me a lot, which is good. I mean, I'm glad they do. I'm not complaining.
I definitely think we're at a good place to end the show today. Guys, it's all about just making life spontaneous, make it fun, you know?
Yeah.
Don't sit around and wait for the adventure to come to you. Go make adventure. You
Exactly.
don't know the date that you're going to die, but it could be next week, it could be 3 years, it could be 60 years from now.
Exactly.
But when you die, you want to know that you lived your life to the fullest regardless of when the end time comes.
Life is precious, YouTube, and so is time. So spend your time wisely. Don't spend it napping. Spend it fucking living.
Don't spend it inside.
This is Mini.
This is Alec.
And Cody.
And I hope you guys enjoyed BroTalk.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Check out our other videos here on the BroDen.
Y'all take care.